Whoa, man, we got new music because this is a bonus episode. Me reading stuff. Robin O'Neill. This is from an anonymous, royalty-free artist. This song is called Terrible Manners. It's a cool 65 degrees here in LA. Wednesday, June 5th. Welcome to June, everybody. I haven't talked to you since June, have I? This song's kind of annoying, but I like it. June for me is, I'm calling it just June. Now, some of you who've been listening a while know that I've always had Monastic May. Monastic May basically for me means getting off the internet. Now, I'll read articles. I'll read the news. I'll look at some news. I will look at, crochet tutorials or whatever. I'll look things up, or I'll maybe have to shop online for something. But what I'm talking about is social media, the dreaded, horrible, maniacal land out there called social media. So I will not be opening up my Instagram. I won't be opening up my Twitter. I won't be opening up any of that. It's all bad news anyway. I don't care what anyone says. You can back it up all you want, but again, I read Jaron Lanier's book, which I have right here. Let me grab it, actually. 1 second. Here, I'm still talking to you. I'm here. Jaron Lanier's 10 arguments for deleting your social media accounts right now. I am saying Jaron with an N. I'll read you the chapters. You are losing your free will. Quitting social media is the most finely targeted way to resist the insanity of our times. Social media is making you into an asshole. And he talks about very basic things, like even if you open up. In fact, I have this one person who I don't even know, but people I know this person. And all I can tell you is that every time I open up Instagram, in the suggested views or whatever, like go to this, or I don't know any of the terminology, it shows this person's face because every single day this human being takes a selfie trying to look cooler and hotter than the last one. And it, good for this person. If that's what they want to do, fine. I actually have a real issue with obsessive selfie taking. I think, I do think it's vanity. I've seen a New York Times article that says it's not. It's empowering. I'm sorry. I think you zoom way out of this time period, way out of this planet. And if you're taking photos of your face every fucking day and trying to look good, how is that not vanity? I do not understand it. Anyway, but it turns me into an asshole in that I'm having to think about these things. Like, it's just human nature to be like, is this like me? Is this like me? Or is this not like me? Is this something I would do? Do I like this? Do I not like this? Whereas if you're not on there all the time, you're looking around, like right now, I'm looking at my music. I'm looking at my ball. For further reference, I'll put a link in the description what my ball is. I'm looking like, oh man, my shoulder's kind of hurt. There's my heating pad. Should I warm this up in the microwave and put it on? I'm seeing this new garbage bag full of yarn I got. Sorry about my text messages here. And I'm thinking about, God, I'd love to warm this coffee up. I've already been going at it a while. I need some more. To me, these are not asshole thoughts. This is all me just being productive, right? Or being curious. Like I see David Markson's reader's block right in front of me, and I'd like to read that again. I see this ceramic ball that my friend Rolando Shaw made and traded with me back in college, and I'm thinking about him like, man, he was such a great artist. I wonder what he's making right now. Whereas if I'm on Instagram, I'm thinking, this person is out of their minds. I'm out of my minds. I'm sad because I didn't get enough likes. I want to post another one so that I can get more likes. It's just this. Oh, and by the way, the new Instagram algorithm is all about keeping you on Instagram longer. So just FYI, I couldn't believe that I witnessed many artists post a post on their Instagram feed that said, hey, if you could just please, it was not a piece of art. It wasn't their cute, hot face. It was a post that said, sorry, I'm all worked up right now. I didn't mean to be worked up. But anyway, it said, please comment and like this so that I can be back on your algorithm or whatever. Meaning, because it is true, if there's no interactivity going on, and if you yourself as a Instagram user aren't engaging with others enough, then your own posts go further to the bottom and people are less likely to see it go to the top, even more than ever with the new algorithm that was launched this month. So basically, if you read the right articles about this, the most realistic ones, not the ones that are like, here's how you can get around the new algorithm, make sure people still see your post. And by the way, it did work because during my last week of my show, I was in a mad dash to try to, embarrassingly enough, to get more people to go see my show. And it worked a little bit. Like, I did have a lot of friends who were like, oh, I'm so glad you posted that. Or, hey, I just saw your I just saw it. Or, oh, shit, it's almost over. I'm heading out. So it kind of worked because that's all I wanted, is more people to see it. But it was also embarrassing. And it was also during the week that the algorithm launched, and I can tell you I got like half the likes on all those posts. Maybe people were just sick of me, but I don't think so. I could tell less people were viewing, and I just figured, well, just backing me up on my biggest instinct, which is everybody hates everything I do, so that's all it is, and people hate these pieces of art, or people hate my new drawings, whatever. I'm not happy about it, but I'm trying to get around it. Anyway, all I'm saying is, be careful out there. Here's another thing. Social media is undermining the truth. Social media is making what you say meaningless. Social media is destroying your capacity for empathy. That's the most important one. I've also read from Sherry Turkle's books on here. Look up Sherry Turkle and her discoveries on empathy and social media. Anyway, Argument 7 in Jaron's book, social media is making you unhappy. Argument 8, social media doesn't want you to have economic dignity. And that's a really important one for any business owner. Social media is making politics impossible. I think we've learned that. And the last one is social media hates your soul. Now, these are meant to be very bold and, severe. But when you really read these, I don't know, this is a very good book in a lot of different ways, and it may upset a lot of people. For me to even talk about this, I'm sure I'm going to be making you mad, but that's because we're all obsessed with it, and we're all addicted. And I swear to God, when you look out into the world at people, if you don't think that being on smartphones is an epidemic, then you're not looking enough. So I really am almost always off of my phone when I'm out in the world. And I do not look at my phone when I'm at dinner or lunch with people unless they're like, hey, begging me to see some photo I just talked about or something. I don't have it on the table. Sherry Turkle's done research on it to where even a cell phone face down on the landscape of a dinner table makes conversations that much less wonderful and makes people feel less heard. So even if you're not touching it. So I've done this just naturally because here's the deal with me. I grew up in a family, we all hate phones. I've hated phones since the beginning of time. I hate the sound of a ringing phone. I hate putting phones to my face. I hate the idea that people are calling me. I hate the idea that I need to call somebody back. I mean, I'm very worked up about phones. And it's 9 minutes in. Let me just... Long story short, do you see why I need Monastic June? I'm going to call it just June because I wanted it to have a J word. But it's basically Monastic June again. And I am so excited to just be... Who knows? Maybe it'll be Monastic Life because... God, I would love that in so many ways. But then you just sit here thinking like, what the hell? I mean, I'm a self-employed person with a business that I need to somehow promote, and I'm not good at doing that anyway. I mean, anyway, all right, let me take some coffee as if it's an IV, and I'll get right back to you. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so sorry if I got worked up. I didn't plan on getting worked up. I was just kind of feeling talkative. I've got a million things I need to be doing, but I felt like giving a little bonus episode out there into the world. What I'm going to be reading to you, and then I'll let you go, is from an art book. One of my favorite artists, and most artists' favorite artist, Philip Guston. This is Philip Guston and the Poets. God, it's so heavy, it's hard for me to tell you. It's a Hauser and Wirth publication. And this was an exhibition that was, I think it was in Italy. Now I'm forgetting. I think it was in Venice somewhere. Let's see. Let me. Oh yeah, it was in 2015, and I'm pretty sure it was the Venice Biennale. And I'm just going to read you a little something that's very inspiring to me. A lot of you guys who are artists know that Philip Guston's writings and interviews and, writings and interviews are very, I don't know how to describe it. They're very fortifying and galvanizing for the way that I work anyway, and a lot of other artists who I love and hold dear. We all love him. I don't know anybody who doesn't love him and the way he handled being an artist. But this is from Cosme di Baragnano. Baragnano wrote this essay for the book, and basically the exhibition was set up with 5 different poets in mind, poets that Guston loved. Guston was very involved in many writers' lives, and they were in his as well. So he was, he was with artists too, but he seemed to have a particular affinity for writers and poets. So anyway, and then there were different selections of Guston's work that were relating to the different artists. Writers. So very interesting exhibition. T.S. Eliot was one of them. Wallace Stevens was one of them. I can't remember who else right now, but William Butler Yeats. That's William Butler Yeats' comedian cousin. So anyway, here in this book, the writer is describing the studio of Guston at a certain point, and there are some images of some art he loves, and then a passage from a letter written by Charles Dickens, which Guston had copied in all capital letters in India ink and divided as indicated here. And here is the quote, which he's basically turned into a poem with the dividing lines. I'll do my best to kind of read it naturally, but if I read it where he's divided it, which was probably just based on whatever piece of paper he was writing it down on, it could have been his own, way of turning it into a poem. But anyway, I'm going to read it the way I see it. I hold my inventive capacity on the stern condition that it must master my whole life, often have complete possession of me, make its own demands on me, and sometimes for months together put everything else away from me. Whoever is devoted to an art must be content to deliver himself wholly up to it, and to find his recompense in it. And then it goes on to say, this passage is also a manifesto, but not one of references and forebearers. Rather, it is a defense of the artist's privacy, a protection of his personal time. Artist privacy, protection of his personal time. All of this goes back into what I was talking about, it being just June and monastic May and monastic whatever. In any way possible, artists, writers, whatever, we all need to all need to be protective of our private time. I believe accountants do too. I believe mothers and fathers do. Who knows? Maybe I'm just speaking for me, though. I happen to need a lot of private time. I happen to need a lot of time to just sit with myself. I always have, but I don't know. You guys get back to me. I have no idea. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people don't need it at all and it doesn't serve people well. That's a goal of mine, actually, is to stop thinking what I need is what everybody else needs. Now, for the most part, I certainly don't think that. Does anybody need to be obsessed with Kleenex the way I do? No, that's a weird thing that I have. Does everybody need to hate the feel of terracotta like I do? No, that's also bizarre. What else do I do? Whatever. I am all for people being into whatever they're into. And if it is avoiding alone time, that is probably really good for certain people, honestly. For me, it's a necessity. And so anyway, this little passage from this book, Philip Guston and the Poets, which I will put a link in the description of this podcast so you'll know where to buy it. It meant a lot to me. In fact, there's a lot in this book that meant a lot to me. And this book got me so excited. For some reason, as I was reading the essay, which, by the way, rarely do essays about art influence me in any way at all. But for some reason, this essay just kept bombarding me with new ideas about the way I'm crocheting things. So I had about 1 million ideas for basically what will be called tapestries. I'm making more and more crocheted drawings, so to speak. And this book really, it was weird. I was reading it late at night in bed, and I had to get up and like take notes, physical notes on the images that were popping in my head. I'm working on one today, so that's getting exciting. Anyway, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much. I see someone gave me my lowest review ever on iTunes, but they didn't have the balls to write what was wrong with my podcast. It was just like, oh, great. I got a 3-star review, the only 3-star review I've ever gotten. I've gotten all 5-star reviews except that one 4-star review and now the 3-star review. And that, I'm not going to lie, it made me sad. I don't know how to describe it other than it made me sad. I'm deeply flawed, everybody, and I'm particularly flawed lately. I'll be honest with you. I just am. I got a lot of stuff on my mind, and a lot of it's negative, and I know that that's not good. And hopefully I'll crawl out of this, and I won't care that somebody gave me a bad review. But until then, right now, I'm a little bit of a raw nerve. So look out, everybody. Okay, listen, you guys are great. You're wonderful. I hope everything in your life is going well. I hope you're finding time with your family. I hope you're finding time to pet your animals, take walks, drink a lot of water. That's all for now. I love you guys. Take it easy. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Also, sorry this episode's so negative. I don't know I just am being me, but I really am sorry. It's not cool. At least I recognize that. Anyway, I'm sorry.